we go. Here we go. Okay, you guys. Oh, what a packed day today. Started working, got told that of course, the verdict was in. Asked if I could work on Thursday part of the day and then I went back to work after that live. Well, after a couple hours, right? And then worked from 4 till 6. Then we're here for a live now. And Melissa's joining me, and Alexa's just running late. Her one son has a fever, but she'll be joining us as well. And in a little bit, Miss Dog Lover, she would like to come up on the panel as well. And she's having a very emotional day. And I'm sure most of you guys, I don't know, you know what, in chat, I know everyone that has watched this case. How are you feeling about it? Like yourselves, have you been crying like a baby? Have you been just very emotional, just happy that the verdict came back? Todd, tell me about those tears that have been dropping from your face. Hey, Mark and Miss Dog Lover and Tawny, thank you guys for the super chats from earlier. Well appreciated. Unexpected, but appreciated. Absolutely. I told my husband, it's called the husband fund. My husband goes, what's the fun for? And I said, for you, for Christmas. On there, because I'd like him to have some. My husband works so hard all the time. Anyways, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Anyways, yeah, thanks so much. You can't have it back. No asking for refunds, okay, Mark? Just saying. No. Anyways, thank you, Tawny. Thank you, guys. And Miss Dog Lover up there as well. Anyways, Melissa. Okay. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I know you've been racing around getting the camera that's still not working properly, and stuff like that. She went out and bought a camera. She actually has the same camera I do, the Logitech one. But she needs to get that up and running properly, but it's just not working for her. So that's hence why you're just going to probably hear her voice, okay? She might show her face maybe now and again, but it's just she kind of gets that froze stage. Anyways, how you feeling about everything right now? As it's soaked in and, how you feeling?
Well, like I said, at first I cried, and now I just, I'm happy that there's a verdict. But I really feel for the family because this really doesn't end here today, even though there's a verdict, because they know there's appeals. But I feel for the family, but I'm happy that we at least have a verdict.
Yes, absolutely. I wasn't thinking about it much, but the minute I heard, because like I said, I think it was Big Bird that I seen. I just happened to see sometimes when I open up my iPad and then a comment might pop up in my face, and it just said something like, "Sonny, you need to uh, be here for this," or that type of thing. And I'm like, what does that mean? Is there a verdict in? And then I didn't really see anything. And next thing I know, like it was after the fact. I would say that people, like, it was about probably 10 minutes after the fact. All of a sudden I'm like, wait a sec, wait, verdict? Wait, what? In? And then I started feeling very nervous about the verdict. Not just nervous in the fact, yeah, because we didn't know what we were going to hear, right? And so, yeah, and because this
Yeah,
is
I
such a
totally
heavy
agree with
day,
that.
yeah, I mean, I remembered, like I said, I was getting ready for the live for 11:15. I looked down at the clock, and I don't know what you guys feel about this, but 11:11, it means an angel is around you. So now, typically, me and my husband will say, "Make a wish," but it means that an angel's around you, like someone's talking to you from heaven. Anyways, so I look at the clock. It's 11:11, and I was like, in my head, I was like, thank you, girls. It's going to be a guilty verdict once I seen that 11:11 on there. But then, of course, we still have to wait for it. Now, I don't care if you're spiritual or not. I am. I'm not no Fruit Loop spiritual person, but I'm just kind of like a free spirit. And it's kind of like whenever, uh, again, everyone, each to their own on that. I've already had my experiences, so I'm good with that. I'm good that the other side is around us still and stuff like that. If you don't believe that, honestly, each to their own, right? But the 11:11, like I said, I personally, when I know that somebody's around me, I get chills. Like they literally just go right down my body, type of thing. And so I don't know. It's just always been my thing, right? So I know when I get chills. But anyway, so when I seen 11:11, I got chills, and I was just like, now I'm thinking, it's Remembrance Day today. Like what a good day for justice for Abby and Libby. Not only did I see 11:11, but it's also 11:11 meaning Remembrance Day. And I'm like, yes, remembering Abby and Libby as well, right? So I find it a very ironic that today was the day that, um, you know, that it fell on, in a sense. I think it's a good day. And I think it's a good day because, like what you said earlier, Melissa, that not only did Abby help solve her own crime, their own murders of Abby and Libby, but also put Kay and Klein, because of the case, behind bars. And it's poetic justice. I'll call this poetic justice. Now, if you're in disagreement of the guilty verdict, so be it. Honestly, like I said, you can speak your mind in the chat all you want, just be respectful. But this is my opinion. I feel like I was shut down last night. Where's Travis? I feel like I was shut down last night for my opinion a little bit on this. And yet the jury said, saw it. Um, I know that some people, like, I don't know how, honestly. I'm not even paying attention to the lefties that are like going off AWOL probably about the verdict coming in. Don't really give two craps about them. Sucks to be them. Sorry they didn't get the verdict that they want. But to me, I felt like the evidence that we got, that we saw, was clear. Like, meaning I didn't, it's one of those things. I don't think this is what sometimes people understand. I didn't need to see more evidence physically. In a, we listened to the lawyers, but meaning just the information alone to me about him putting himself there at the time, and the stuff that we knew about the car, about him saying that he was there wearing the same clothes, talking about the white van. So all of that plus, right, the confessions. So for me, that's exactly where I derived it from, was the facts of the case. The defense was trying to twist it into the whole episodes and false confessions, but I never saw that whatsoever, nor did I care really. Like, no, what I cared about was the defense, of course, doing what defense does, that they were trying to take the truth, in a sense, and put a spin on it. So I'm not into this whole that Richard Allen had all this going down. What I was looking for was there truth into what he was saying, regardless if he was having some sort of breakdowns, but nothing that would cause this man to sit there and talk about a white van that actually happened, nothing to talk about somebody that placed himself on the bridge. And he fits every checkbox for the BG. Like, meaning, who else was on the bridge that they could find that literally said that they were playing with their gun, that was wearing the same clothes, that put themselves on the bridge, that can fast, So to me, it's just 2 + 2. And again, it doesn't matter if you disagree. I have a right to my opinions, right? Just like anybody else does. So that's the way I personally saw it. What about you, Melissa? And you guys in chat too. Well, um, what do you mean the link
That's a
doesn't work?
complex question.
Yeah. No, 1 second here. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hi, Frank.
So what are you wanting to know? Like,
Well, I
I
just
think
want
I
to.
lost track of the question because I was
I guess
listening.
it was just more about, like, those were my reasons why I was hoping that the jury would see the truth beyond, it all. Listen to his voice, like listen to all the stuff and the evidence, look at it. And so that was how my take on it, why I felt absolutely he was guilty, like, meaning not just thinking about it, but it's that evidence to me that showed it's Richard Allen. So did you
I
feel like,
agree.
you know. So did you feel like,
Yeah,
what
I
what
agree.
are the
Like
main things for you?
like it's hard for me to separate like what I know outside of what the jury heard and
Yeah.
what you know, like outside of it, and then just what the jury heard. But they never denied that he was on the bridge. They never denied that he wasn't the one seen. They just focused on different people being seen, or the description not matching him, or, you know, stuff like that. They never said he wasn't there. It wasn't him. And it's like, for me, that said guilty plus the confessions, even if you only took one of them into account, But then again, I kind of thought they were going to say not guilty because the defense focused so much on the mistreatment in jail and in
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And they had
that's
to.
not the crux of the case. The case is, was he bridge guy? Because that's all they had to prove. And the defense never attacked the fact or said he wasn't bridge guy.
Yeah.
So, that coupled with what I already know outside of the case, because the day after he was arrested, I did the deep dive into Facebook pages, and that's where I ended up getting the picture that I sent you.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. That's right.
I went from his wife's page to the daughter's page. I went from the daughter's page to her pictures. I found that picture, and then I went and found out that it was actually posted in November of 2017 by the
Yeah.
mother-in-law on a family trip. And
Where's
it's
that
like, yeah,
picture?
he's guilty. Like, I felt in my heart he was guilty. I see him in the bridge guy video. But I was
Where's that?
scared. Like when we got the text, I got a text from somebody that was outside court. Hey, everybody's lining up. We're going in. There's a verdict. I was scared because I was terrified that they weren't going to see and put it together, and they were just going to, because they were so affected by those prison videos, that's all they were going to focus on. And it's like, I hope that they really focused on everything. And then when we got it that he was guilty, I was elated. I was just elated.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I was just grabbing that picture. Hi, Miss Dog Lover.
Hey, Sunny. How
How are
you
you?
doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I've just been crying quite a lot actually, because I think anyone that's got young girls in their family would feel like just be really affected by what's happened today. And thank God the jury have made the right decision. That man is so dangerous, in my opinion, for him to have been allowed out in public again. My God, I think he would have done it again.
I mean, a possibility, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I'm really emotional. I can't stop crying. I've got two nieces, and I would literally die for them. I would kill someone for them. And can you imagine what the family are feeling? What the families are feeling?
yeah, of course. Of course. Like,
Yes, I can.
honestly, just probably every emotion under the sun today, for sure. Elation, sadness, of course. It's no one should ever have to go through this stuff. Especially when somebody takes the life of others, and just the traumatization. It's hard to even imagine. I haven't been like I've never been in that situation. I know you have with your brother and stuff. And Melissa as well, with her son and stuff going on. No one should ever have to feel these type of pain and anguish. And like I said, for me personally, they have the right person. Richard Matthew Allen, that is who killed Abby and Libby, and justice was served today. Now we all
And
know that is going to be Trump.
I hate
Go
the
ahead.
fact middle name is Matthew, because that was my brother's name.
And that's my son's name.
That's your son's name.
That's my son's name. I was like, ugh.
I know.
Mhm.
And let's not forget, it doesn't matter what we feel because we're not the jury. The jury looked at this case. They took 17 hours of talking, and they said, we think it's him.
Yeah.
So no matter how anybody feels, the naysayers that say, oh, it wasn't him, that don't matter because the jury done said it is, and he's now a convicted felon.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Ms. Douglas.
Exactly. And I was just watching another channel that I used to like, and now I don't longer like them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, honestly, I mean, I just do my own thing, regardless of the end of the day. I can't be like, it's been awesome being able to hear from the lawyers and the people that have been in the courtroom and stuff like that. That part was amazing because if it wasn't for them, we would not have the coverage that we did. And a lot of them were very detailed and exactly, you know, missing a few things, of course, because they're freaking scribbling like crazy. But, just to feel like we were in, same with like when Melissa did it here, feel like you're actually in the courtroom and you're giving these things about how Richard Allen is acting and talking, and so sure, it would have been great to see it. But as for that, honestly, like I said, the channels that are to the far opposite opinion about this, have a heyday at it. Enjoy, like they're gonna never believe it, whatever. Like even if evidence sometimes slaps people in the face, I am grateful that the evidence did come to show that to convince the jury. I felt like I wasn't sure because I was trying to outweigh the mistakes and the reasonable doubt. But I had to stick with the guilty verdict because it was for the girls. And I just wanted, when you just know that Richard Allen's the guy and you just need the verdict to say so. And
I
so,
mean, I had faith, Sunny, because I think
yeah,
the jury were asking intelligent questions from what
they
I
were.
see. So, they were intelligent. Thank God.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Like, I really wanted them to look at every aspect of it, like anyone would. Look to see if Richard Allen was faking those confessions, if he was playing on it, what the timing of when he was doing those confessions, I just wanted them to look at everything and then come back with whatever answer they were going to come back because that's the best that they could have done. When you got 12 people and you got some smart people, within the group and stuff like that, when, for instance, if I had, say, Ivy in the group with me and I didn't know anything about mental health, right? Then obviously I would be listening to what she had to say and weigh that in my head, that type of thing. So when you got 12 people that have different knowledges and then they're all looking at the evidence together, I'm grateful for the verdict of the jury. I think I wanted them to get it right. They got it right in my eyes. And I'm just
I
glad.
think the state, I think they've effed up quite a lot. But the closing statements to me were so emotional, saying how Libby was a hero and she solved her own crime, and also Abby with hiding the phone in her shoe, and that broke me. What
Yeah.
amazing girls. They're so brave and so smart.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it really sucks being here, talking about two girls that were murdered, especially when you're looking at their faces and their big smiles. And, Abby was the introvert and Libby was the go, like let's do this, let's go, come on now, with the smiley face. I know those personalities. You guys, most people who watch me always see a smile on my face. That's how I am pretty much all day long. And it's just because some people just smile a lot naturally. I'm one of those ones. And Libby does. When you see Libby's aura, it just oozes like this happy go lucky type personality, and even Abby's sweet little face there. And it just hurts me to no end that, like you said, right, anyone with children would understand if you put yourself totally in their shoes and looked at it from, if this
You
happened to your
have to have
child.
children. You just like to have young children in your
Yeah.
family. Like,
Mhm.
oh, those girls were amazing. What they've done to solve this crime, and yeah, I
Yeah.
can't stop crying. Well done, girls. Well done.
Yep, that's exactly it. Well done, girls. Voodoo. Okay, so on the screen, this is what Melissa had sent me. So this is from November of
That is from
2017.
Brittany Zapata's mother-in-law, and it's from November of 2017. They took a family trip to Chicago, where this picture of Richard Allen and Kathy Allen was snapped. Not sure why, but it was.
Yeah,
And
there was
I
another one
found
that.
this the day after He was arrested before their Facebooks all got shut down.
Yeah, I'm really bad for that. I could have, would have, should have, could have got a lot of stuff off the Facebook before that. Somehow Facebook's, a lot of times it bores me. And then next thing I know, then people are idiots and go freaking start threatening and throwing shit up there. Then the person starts shutting down their Facebook. And then I'm like, I should have, would have, could have. Oh, Charmaine, are we going to hear a Rickroll? Okay, wait. We got to quickly take a second here and say who got these, okay? Crafty One, Camaro Lover, No Use for a Name, hi husband, Lady Dog Lover, aka Jean, Kim French, Cold Truth, Jen P, Nana Margie, Turquoise, Solar Chef. I desert you guys all in a second.
But you know what,
that.
Sonny?
Go ahead.
I think Libby could have filmed the entire crime, and don't take this the wrong way. I think Libby could have filmed the entire crime, and then Abby could have hit it, and there would still be people saying, "Oh, he didn't do it. That he
I
was
know.
just crazy."
I know. What's that? I'm gonna have to. This is gonna go off 10 times. Okay, I'm gonna let you two talk for a minute while these memberships go off. Thank you, Charmaine. Love you so much. Thank you for always being there for me. She's my wing woman. Anyways, thanks, Charmaine. Cold Truth. Hey, Mel. Yeah, I see that. I guess you had a 1 in 10 chance there, Mel. How many people are in here? 43. 43, Mel. Your chances were good.
Did you know you don't even have to be in the chat, Sonny, to get the memberships?
Yes.
I did not know that until the other day.
Yeah, at first we didn't know that for a while, and then it came out that But anyways, you guys go chat for a second because I'm just going to let some of these
Okay, so Todd, I'll respond to your question. No. Libby's phone was set up to where Abby's face would unlock it. So it was not Abby that tried to unlock it and couldn't. Because she was able to do it with her face and fingerprint, I think. I know her face. I'm not sure about the fingerprint part, but I know her face was set to unlock the phone that came out in court.
Miss Dog Lover, feel free to jump in there.
Yeah, sorry, Sonny. I'm just having a moment. Yeah.
Yes, illuminating ink. That's as good as I could get. I did try to blow it up best I could. You can see the same hat there as in the bridge guy photo. The original sketch and the dark jacket. That's the significance of that picture. I found it the day after he was arrested.
I always thought he was guilty as sin. Absolutely. As
soon as they showed his face when they first arrested him, I was like, yep, that's Bridge Guy.
Yeah.
Like you could just, to me, the facial features that you could see in the video matched him.
They did. Yeah, it took away from my keg and dunker, though.
Yeah, Sonny, we forgive you for that. Don't worry. That guy's still a scumbag, so don't
I'm
worry.
telling you, if... One sec. If I put those two faces, I don't care what anyone says, those two look like brothers. They have that same kind of face and the same little butt chin thing. Anyways, they look like brothers. I tell you, I kid you not. Richard Allen's youthful picture looks exactly like King Anchor. But, obviously, I learned my lesson. You guys don't call out murder people. Well, I didn't say murders. Hold on. Yeah, I got to make sure I make that clear. I never called him a murderer. I called him the BG. And you know what? I don't care. All those people were talking. It made complete sense. But I learned my lesson is that you don't sit there and call out somebody's name, even though there's a freaking list of 100 almost of them. But anyways, that's my accountability.
Egan and Garrett are still scumbags.
Oh, they're still scumbags. Oh, yeah. But oh, keeps going off. Oh, on there. But yeah, so anyways, lesson learned. I learned a huge lesson with Delphi, to be honest with you, and it's made me grow as a person and just learn. Right, I was just a newbie coming into things, and lot of life lessons. I'm always willing
That's
to learn
absolutely
lessons.
fine, Sonny. No problem at all. But with Richard Allen, I think, the fact that they didn't find any DNA in the car, I think he probably just switched the jacket. I think he probably had clothes on underneath his clothes.
Yeah, probably maybe that tan jacket that whatchamacallit saw, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I mean, it's not like that shouldn't go through one's mind. Obviously, you're thinking he's layered up,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
he
Yeah.
went to the bridge with the blue jacket, but left. Obviously, you're not going to want blood. Well, like, it might still be on him because obviously blood splatter everywhere, right? From the artery damage and stuff like that there. But that doesn't mean that he couldn't have been wearing a tan jacket down the road, because that was always my thought. Like, what did he do with the blue jacket? Did he kind of like, put it on hanging over his arms or something like that? Like, so it's still possible that that jacket could have been tan.
He said himself he was bundled up that day, so he's got clothes underneath. He could have easily disposed of those clothes that were spattered in blood. I mean, God, Dexter wasn't there, was he, at the time?
I mean, if he planned it, who's to say he didn't have clothes in his car to change, put on over it, too? I mean,
exactly.
We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But to answer Todd's question over here, Sonny, it says, I don't think the iPhone 6 had face recognition. Since it's good enough for a court of trial, I went ahead and Googled that. And according to AI, again, since it's good enough for trial, you can wake up the iPhone 6 by raising it to your face and glancing at it. So, yes, it did have face recognition.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she had like an iPhone 6E or S. That's what she had, or that, and that was beautiful, by the way. Let me just play a quick video here. And you guys, we're still waiting for Alexa. When Alexa does come, I'm gonna play back a few of the things that we were talking about, back in the day, when Alexa was profiling the BG, and it's when you listen back to it, you're just like going, you go, yeah, she pretty much nailed it. So I thought when Alexa comes on, we'll listen to the things that she said. It's kind of on a live where there was me, Deb, Aspen, and I think Lewis might be on one, and then the other one was I think me, Deb, I can't remember. I'd have to look again. Because it's always good when you kind of are thinking about things to go back, especially if you're like a profiler or an expert or something like that, to go back and go, okay, so was I right? Was I close to it? I know there's some general senses of, but like there's some commonalities a lot of times that, someone has a family, type of thing, kids, children, because a lot of times they're married and they're leading this entire secret life. That's Richard Allen, now when Alexa gets on, because Alexa thinks that still, and she could be totally right, she thinks that he's a psychopath that doesn't really have emotions, that is a manipulator of emotions. Now, they've called him and said that he's had dependent personality disorder. I ain't no expert, so I honestly don't know. I know that disorders overlap each other, but honestly, I'm not in that space to know what a psycho be. Like, if I was to go with my gut feeling, I would say that Richard Allen has, emotions and whatever. But we do know that as a young, kid, whatever, maybe he just came out a rotten egg all in all, and he was a psychopath. And, leading up into this event of Abby and Libby, in a sense, event, you'd call it event, murders. It's call it what it is. This guy had tons of issues going on with himself, sexual abuse and, stuff that would have literally geared in to why something like this would have happened. Anyways, Jen called. There is no call in. We don't have call in. We have a link to give for someone to come up, but we don't have call in. But anyways, let me just quickly play. I'll just quickly play this. This was one from earlier. I think it's this one. Oh, it's this one here. Yeah. We'll just watch this one for a second.
And she's on the other side of the courthouse, and she has some information now. Sam?
Well, Anne-Marie, we have heard from time and time again throughout this entire trial, the presence of the girls, right? Abby and Libby, we can see it on the buildings, the ribbons here around us, the blue and purple ribbons representing the girls' favorite colors. And when that verdict was announced just a few minutes ago, these sidewalks were filled with people who were crying. Some of them were cheering out of excitement. They called it justice for these two girls' families. We heard from one gentleman, his name is Tim Harper. He lives here in Delphi. He was very vocal the moments after that verdict came down. Listen to what he had to say.
Tonight we'll be able to go to sleep knowing that we're all safe again, knowing that we can ask and look at one another again in the hands of love and help. The man is now going to be put behind bars for what he has done. And I believe that he is remorseful, but we don't want the remorse. We want justice, and today was the day, and we thank the Lord for everything and all of our officers and our hard duties and work. Everyone has put so much effort into this. The love and care that everybody has showed right now, loving one another and the care of not even protecting him. He's not the victim. They were the victims, and we were victims also with it. We want to be released just as well as Abby and Libby. They're free now. They are free. And again, today is their day, and we've been saying it for years. Endless nights of sleep. We can now say that this is justice. Finally.
Amen.
So much emotion here outside the Carroll County Courthouse. I can tell you within really the last few minutes, it's really started to quiet down. A lot of people, like we mentioned, just here to see and witness that verdict. And then now they've kind of left the downtown Delphi area. But Scott, this is really just the beginning of what we saw today, what we heard today. And of course, there's much more to get to tonight on 13 News.
All right, Samantha Johnson continuing our live team coverage in Carroll County outside the Delphi Courthouse. Thanks. We'll get back to you, and we'll also get back to our crew, including Emily Longnecker, Bob Siegel, and Anne-Marie Tiernan, who are going to be covering this trial throughout the evening. If you're just joining us here on WTHR and across our social media platforms, Richard Allen was found guilty by a jury of his peers today of the murders of these two young girls 7.5 years ago, Abby Williams and Libby German, who were killed after going out for a walk. This 14 and 13-year-old girl, we always bring it back to the fact that this was all about these two young teenagers, Abby and Libby.
And I'm going to stop it there.
It's all about the girls at the end of the day. But Richard Allen, in my opinion, is a psychopath.
You think he's a psychopath?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll get back to that in a second. And thank you, Dr. Jen. And you can feel free to come up here, Jen, if you want. You don't have to go on camera or nothing, but feel free to come up here if you want and say your piece. I know that you've been, very, of course, always active in chat. So just know that that option's available if you do. But I do want to go back to that guy. Oops, I'm not even showing myself on my camera. Sitting there talking like a blurb, like a blah, blah, blah. Anyways.
You look lovely, Sonny, as always.
Thank you. Go on. No, just kidding. But honestly, what that guy said, absolutely amen to that. Not only did it, like I said, for the victims' families and anyone of the Delphi community, because you can feel it when they talk about it, how that changed the course of Delphi, the feelings that people had. Like the one girl said that Hidden True Crime, I can't think of the girl's name that she was interviewing, that was Libby's friend, more Libby's friend than Abby's. And she said, just the impact, like how the parents, were keeping them in. Everyone just they didn't know what to think, but besides there's a killer on the loose. And I'll never forget Tobe Lesenby and that other one. They're just like, Well, especially when that one guy said that one, can't think of his name. The one that was sitting down there and you didn't even know the freaking right bridge. Anyways, when he basically said, well, they're adults. I think that they know how to, what they should do and not do. And then Tobe Leazenby was directly asked, like, should people be worried or whatever? And I can't think his answer was basically like, no, like, and it's like, do you have and all I could think about was, do you have the BG in custody? Then how the hell do you even say that comment? Like that people, like almost like, don't worry, everything's good. As if the BG was in custody, speaking out of his big ass there. Oh, I can't stand that.
I just like Doug Carter saying tentacles. What the fuck do you mean? Like, and
it's because they thought there was multiple people. Like there's more people
well,
involved. Remember, they were going to need 60 to 80 people for the case. Do you remember that?
There weren't, yeah. But, well, yeah, I mean, we looked at that, didn't we? But the fact that there was the possibility of other people being involved, Jesus Christ, I mean, sorry. This guy was just like down the road, wasn't he?
Sorry, I can't start meowing. What was the last thing you said there, Miss Dog Lover?
This guy, Richard Allen, was literally like, what, half a mile away?
Yeah. From the high bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was hiding in plain sight, wasn't he?
Yeah, and of course, Tobe knew his voice. He knew it so well that when he actually talked to Richard Allen, he knew it so well that he just, heard his voice and was like, yeah, no, nothing to see here, whatever. But anyways,
I
Melissa.
actually kind of feel bad, Sonny, for the Patties, because Mike and Becky admitted and disclosed back when they did that press conference of when they arrested Richard Allen. At the end of that press conference, they said, one of the reporters asked, is it true that he processed pictures for the girls' memorial for free for you? And she said, yes, that is true. And, they looked at those pictures day in and day out, making flyers and passing them out and hanging them up and so forth. And I feel bad for them in hindsight. Are they looking at it and going, how did we not know? How did we not see it?
Isn't that just sick and twisted? That the person that killed the girls is literally developing the pictures and saying, you know what? No charge. It's all good. It's on us. It's like how sadistic. Like just imagine, right? Just imagine, like, you know what I mean? I know it's a small town, but imagine the person that took the lives of those girls is literally doing the developing for the pictures for the funeral.
The problem is, Sonny, he probably loved it. And that is a psychopath.
Oh, yeah. Right. You know what? He probably was like, oh, fine work I did,
Well,
yeah,
on that note, in court, when they showed the crime scene pictures in court, he was all about looking at them. He would look at them. He would stare at them. When they showed all of that, when it had to do with the girls, he would pay close attention. But when it came to the cell videos and the transfer videos, he didn't want to look because it had to do with him. But now if it had to do with the crime and it had to do with the girls, he was all about looking at it and studying it and paying attention.
I agree as well, because I wasn't there, but I agree with the person. Was it Lauren that said that? Or I can't remember who was it that said that. Was it Lauren on Hintergram? Anyways, that he had, like, someone said it, that there was no, like, it's like everyone else, like, Kathy, of course, is putting her hands bawling and sobbing, and her mother, and, the Patties and the, Germans and the Williams are, all, of course, having their emotional moment. And they said that Richard Allen didn't, the lawyers were whatever, but Richard Allen really didn't show much emotion at all. And, and I will agree. for the fact myself that what the person said was, well, when somebody's guilty and then they get the, verdict that, they know that they did the crime. So it's not like a big shocker if it did come back guilty. He was probably just hoping in a prayer that it wouldn't come back, right? That the defense did enough for him as lawyers, but yeah, like usually if somebody's not guilty, in a sense, there's certain reactions that would usually come from somebody if you hear a not like a guilty plea, and you're devastated because you're effing innocent, you'd be like, like, what I mean, showing emotion. So it makes sense to me, someone not showing emotion when they know that they're guilty, because again, people do human, like, normal reactions typically, right? If somebody puts a hand in your face, you instantly do something. And so when somebody reads like that, guilty, and if you're, like I said, if you know you did it, you're not going to have that same reaction as if it's a genuine reaction. So that, to me, that's probably why you didn't show much emotion, whether that's true or not. But I think it goes with the territory on this one, though. Yeah.
But also the way that people in court were saying that he would stare through them. Like, he's got those evil eyes, in my opinion.
Oh, ugh. I honestly can't stand staring at his face, knowing what he did, looking at that freaking little leprechaun face of his. That his face disgusts me just to look at it. Honestly,
Yeah, I can't look at him. But yeah, in court was saying that he would stare through them.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny how
he
it's
he
funny.
was creepy. When he would look at you, it was creepy. I mean, I sat there, and like I said, he looked back at us several times, and it creeped me out. It was like, make this guy quit looking at me. I'm getting, I'm 4 rows back, and I'm still sitting here going, don't look at me. It's not
I'd
that
be
I was
so
getting
scared.
scared.
I'd be so
It was
scared.
just
Can you imagine what those
creepy.
girls went through? I'd be scared in court. Can you imagine what those girls went through?
Absolutely.
I mean, I can look at crime scene photos, but if you're
I gotta go let
charging
my
me with
cat
a
out.
crime
One
that I
second.
didn't do, I'm gonna react.
I'll be right back. I just gotta go let my cat out. Be right back.
I mean, I could look at crime scene photos all day long, but I was a
I can't
paramedic for 8 years,
personally.
and crime scene
Personally,
photos don't
I
bother
wouldn't.
me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to personally look at crime scene
I guess I
photos.
shouldn't say they wouldn't bother me.
I would never get it out of my head. I don't want to see photos like that.
And I mean, they
really-
make me emotional. I feel bad for the victim, but you have to look at that stuff to solve a crime.
Yeah,
But
some
for
people
me,
have to. Some people have to, but I don't think the YouTube community need to look at that.
no, I agree. And there were several that were putting it out there, and that's not, you don't need to put that out there. And I think that's one thing when I was in court, when they said they weren't going to show the movement videos to respect his dignity, I was looking at the family when they said it, and it's like all color dropped out of them. You could see, like, actually with your eyeballs, see the pain that single word meant. Dignity,
God.
protect his dignity. What the heck are you talking about? His. You should have protected the girls. And I know that's not on the family. That's on the prosecutor. I know that, but like, it really hurt.
Yeah.
Saying that. I mean, it angered the entire courtroom instantly.
I can imagine. I mean, can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been quite open about what happened with my brother when he was killed in 2009. They gave me the option to see him after he died, and I was like, no. My brother wouldn't want his little sister to see him like that. can you imagine what the family are feeling seeing those pictures of their murdered children?
And they're not just seeing it in court, they're seeing it on YouTube, they're seeing it on
Yeah,
Reddit, they're seeing it
yeah.
on Facebook, they're
They've
seeing
got,
it in a
yeah,
lot of
they've got
different
the
places
option.
of, oh, it's being
They don't
posted.
have that option. Yeah, they don't have that option. I had that option, and I said, no, I'm not going to do it because I respect you, my lovely brother, who I still
And the family
miss
is
every day.
the
Go on,
family is
sorry.
actually going to try to start I don't want to say law, because they're going to talk to the state because they want to make it a felony. They want to go to legislation and make it a felony to take and post crime scene photos behind a paywall. So Patreon, if you subscribe to it, you can see them or whatever. They're trying to make that illegal, and I can see why. I mean, they've had to live through it.
Those photos. Like, who wants to see those
Honestly,
photos?
that's just so disgusting. That's just disgusting.
I'd rather see the girls like this that we're
No
seeing
one-
on screen
No
now,
one in their right
as
mind should
opposed to
want to
crime
see
scenes.
those photos.
Well, you guys are over talking each other.
Sorry, Sonny.
Don't,
But
don't just,
no one should want to see those photos. Why would you want to see them? And unless you need to.
yeah. Well, I saw the
Agreed.
girls' crime scene
And
photos
like I said, I'd rather see the girls like we see them on screen right now than in a crime scene photo any day.
You know, I mean, it's true. So when the crime scene photos were getting dissected around and stuff like that, at first I didn't really care, and then I kind of wanted to see them because I kind of wanted to know about the crime scene, like if that stuff existed, and
No.
you know, like the details of the stuff around. And so, and just, you know, like the defense was saying about antlers and stuff like that on Abby's head and stuff like that. So, but it's one of those things that forever those visuals will be in my head, though, unfortunately. Like probably, well, both of them, you know. So it's one of those things that, yeah, once you see, you can't unsee. So because this case was so, you know, you were just trying to figure out who, you know, the first of all, the BG was. But yeah, so I'll say, like I said, a lot of people had already seen them, but I finally did. But do I regret it? You know, do I regret seeing them? Prob just for the fact of then you can't unsee it. You know, like if I wouldn't have seen them, I would just picture. I could still picture like what the details that we kind of knew already. So you kind of try to picture how it was portrayed in a sense. But yeah, you know. But I think it's sick and twisted for anyone that tries to put pictures like behind a paywall. Like so, meaning the pictures I would never ever post them on a paywall. I would never ever do anything with them besides for my own self.
Yeah, I mean, I would never actively look for those photos.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Why would anyone do that?
I came across John Bonet's photos on a video one day. I had never, and that was only a couple years ago. And I was actually so disgusted that I'm literally watching a video. I had no clue about all those pictures for John Bonet, as many as there were. But honestly, I kind of blocked that video from my brain, and I still only really remember the one photo of her that I remember seeing regardless. But I thought it was just so disgusting to sit there and look at all these photos of this poor little freaking child, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to tell me to fuck off, Sonny, but what do you think about John Bonet? What happened?
What do you mean?
Who did it?
No clue.
You don't think? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a clue. Oh, hold on. Alexa's here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alexa.
Yeah, we'll do another live on that one
My
day,
best
Mr.
friend,
Glover.
Alexa.
There she is. I'm gonna put her up here.
Hi, Alexa.
I was just looking at the time going, where's my Alexa?
Alexa.
Sorry, it's just a mess. One of those days, like everybody knew I had something to do at 9. My
I
husband
know.
never allows my kids to eat cake. Today they're eating cake at 9:15. I'm like, why are they eating cake?
Even the sick boy?
No, not him. My husband and my other son. The other one, 4, is like having a tantrum that somebody stole a gum, and I'm like, if you're so sick and you have fever, why are you fighting about a piece of gum?
How old are they, Alexa?
They're 11.
11.
My God.
Oh, good luck with that one.
Jesus Christ. Like I was like so pissed. I'm like, you know what? I'm like not going into the live anymore. I'm like, I'm going to get undressed because I am like so angry. But thank God they went to bed and everybody left me alone. So I'm like, you know what? Time to come back. So how is everybody? I'm so sorry being late.
Oh no, welcome. How
I've
are
been
you?
listening in and out. So.
How are you feeling? Hi, Bossy. How are you
Nice
feeling
to
about
see you,
today?
Alexa.
I'm nice to see you too. Well, I'm happy. I mean, I knew that I knew they were going to come. That this was going to be the decision, and there were 2 clues. I am not a statement analysis, but when the jury was given the questions, there were certain words that were pointing that they were kind of thinking he's guilty, and I was like,
Alexa, you're sounding low over there.
I think they're going to go towards the guilty. And then when on that Saturday they asked to bring the BG and the Coleman video, I said, they want to
Yeah.
analyze the voice.
I think we all feel like they were using it for the voice comparison,
Mm.
as well as other words in it.
Could
But
also be they wanted to read body language, right?
Yeah.
Like try to read body language and say,
Yeah.
hey, why are you getting so
especially
defensive
Mr.
if you are
Psychologist.
not if you're not guilty? So that could have been too.
I was doing my best to avoid hurricane noise. Oh God.
Oh my God. Oh, Bossy was there. Oh my God.
I know, Bossy. In chat, whatever. Tell us. Throw in whatever details you can about today. On there. Let's see here. What do you think they are gag orders on? What do you think? What do you mean? What do you mean? The gag orders are the same gag orders, Bogey. That basically the, family and any police, like, they're not allowed to talk about the case until the sentencing on December 20th. My first day of holidays. Yeah. So it's the same gag orders that were in effect, right? It really sucks though, because I would, normally after a verdict, the lawyers come out and talk, and the family and stuff like that, and the news talks to the family.
Can I just say that CD, our friend, was 100% correct? Because I asked him, why are they asking for more evidence? And he said, I think it's just they know the verdict. They just want to solidify it. CD knows a lot. Thank you, CD.
I think there were maybe a few people that were not there, few jurors that were not 100% there, and I think they had to bring everything back to kind of be like,
yeah,
we're all on the same page.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, because even today, I think they came and I think everybody had their piece and everybody probably went around. If you check the time, it kind of feels like they still went around and they said, hey, are we all happy with this? Are we all agree that this is what we're going to do?
They probably had a couple of holdouts and they had to just go through everything.
Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, somebody said to me, oh no, they knew, but if they would have known 100%, they would have came in today and the verdict would have been 1, 2, 3, and they weren't. And by the way, hi Michelle, I'm sorry, I didn't want to be rude.
Melissa, you're messing
with
Melissa,
I'm sorry. Why do I call her Michelle? I'm sorry. Hi Melissa, I'm sorry. I'm bad with names.
What were you saying?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hi Melissa.
Sorry, I call her Michelle. But no, I'm sorry, Melissa. Thank you, Melissa, for everything. I know you you had gone to the court and came back to report everything to us.
Yeah, you're all amazing. You know you are. Thank you.
Where did I come with the name Michelle? I don't know.
You know how
Melissa-
many people have called me that, Alexa? A lot. A lot of people call me that. To the point, enough people call me that to the point to this day, when somebody says Michelle, I still turn around.
But you knew
You're
it was.
On the phone, people always call me Penny. Penny. I'm like, no, I hate that name, Penny. No offense
like
if your
me.
name's Penny. I hate
Me,
it.
they call me Gloria.
That's my
'Cause
mom's
it's
name.
My first name, my first name is Claudia. So a lot, and Alexa is my middle name. So a
Mhm.
lot of people are like Gloria, and I'm like, no, that's not my name. But
Yeah.
which one
Um,
I am anyway.
just quickly to Melissa. Melissa, you talking about this 23-second video one?
Yes,
what it
that
said.
is the crowd reacting. Yeah.
Let's just quickly watch this for a sec.
Oh, she was in charge of the jury pool.
Barbara McDonald. Oh, that was a blurb.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't much.
Richard
the
Allen
crowd
has been
cared.
found
I do
guilty of
have a
murder.
copy she posted on X of that sheet there, and she had wrote down AWL, wrote down their initials, and then put guilty, 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 and that's what she was holding up when she walked out, so everybody would know.
Guilty on all four. Were any of you guys shocked about all four? Did you think it was all or nothing type of thing?
I thought it was all or nothing. I thought it was.
I was shocked.
No, I wasn't shocked. I thought
What about you guys in chat?
100%. 100% that guy is guilty on all counts.
Yeah.
And the jury came back and they delivered.
They delivered. Actually, they did. Amen. They delivered. Because I was thinking, I was kind of thinking two for sure, but maybe not the other two. But I'm so glad that they saw the fact that he was the actual one that committed the crime, instead of just the kidnapping.
That's what I thought, Sonny.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that they would do too, because for the felony murder, all they had to find that he was bridge guy, and bridge guy took the girls off the bridge. And I thought, oh, they're going to find guilty on that. And then it's like, well, they're going to find not guilty on the intentional because they didn't prove it. But hey, I'll take all four.
Now, Alexa, you guys, I'm going to play this video from, when was this one? Actually,
well, this is when he got arrested. I wish you would have found the first one that we did.
I didn't
profiling. Before he got arrested.
I think. Well, I don't think that I found that one. I looked at another one that I'll play as well. Because what was the date on this one? This one was 2 years ago. They have specific dates. Hold on.
Yeah.
Why am I blind? Normally it's right here. It will say fair use, blah, blah, blah. Why am I missing it? Normally it says the date.
He had just been arrested.
This was streamed on November 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this was one stream. So I'm just going to play a little bit of this. So this is when Lexa, so I had asked her basically, because so before the BG was arrested, she had given a profile. And then I had said to her, Alexa, hey, what did you say about the BG? So anyways, we're just going to play this out for a minute. Let you listen. Deb and Aspen and me down in the corner there, and Alexa. So give me a sec, guys. Make sure your mics are muted, please. And let's see here. I'll turn this up. Is it up high enough? Let's see. Okay.
And I think he's a coward, and I don't think he'll take the chance.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I just Alexa, remember before we learned who he was? Do you do you remember what your kind of your thought process was?
I think I remember I told you he was probably an organized killer. I remember I said, in my opinion, I told you I think he wasn't young. I told you I thought he was like 45. I think I said he probably the only thing
you're
that
right
was
there.
wrong- relationships. I think I said I think he might be in a relationship. He might be married. The only thing what I was wrong is usually those type of killers don't last as long as he has with the same person. They usually are in relationships, but many relationships, not just one. So this one actually did break the mold in that sense. So in that case, I was wrong, and I said like he probably has kids. That's what I. That's
Right.
how I thought.
Alexa, do you think that, I agree with everything you're saying. So I think that, the only thing that you said that you were wrong about is something that could easily be explained by the fact that, no one knows anyone's relationship, but lots of married people that are together for 25 years,
Yeah.
they may be married. That doesn't mean they have a relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
possible.
I mean, that's another thing that I do believe. I do believe that he has probably an addiction, a sexual addiction. So either he has extramarital affairs or maybe he has some indiscretions. And I think everything is going to come.
Can I just say boom there?
Yeah.
Hold on, where are we? Are we here? No, that's not us. Where's the thing? It's not that one either. Where's the thing gone? No, I'm missing a person. Where did it go? Oh, it's here. There we go. Ha. Can I just say boom there on that? Because I still remember when Alexa was talking about that, and I was just like, I don't know, like there's no signs of, sexual stuff. You're just trying to figure it out. So this was like what Alexa had said prior to the BG being arrested, and then that's why I asked her, after he was arrested, and because like she said, she had already profiled him. But so always going back in hindsight, especially when you're literally saying, I think he's got a sexual addiction, and then you said something about his daughter perhaps as well and stuff like that, and affairs, right, and that type of thing, and yet he said that he had an affair on his wife. Probably.
He did?
Yes.
No. When?
Yes, that was one
I
of his
didn't know that.
confessions. Yeah. Well, that was one of
that
his
was in
things
one
that
of the
he said,
confessions.
No, get out.
No.
Oh my.
God. So yeah,
I heard it too. Can I
probably
also ask Todd why he's asking why I love dogs? Because dogs are great. So yeah. Are you a troll, Todd?
No, Todd's not a troll.
No. Why do I love dogs? Because they're amazing.
Sometimes they're better than people.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that reminds me of that movie. I love dogs. Anyways, okay, I'm going to play a little bit more because I honestly played it up until this part. Let's just see.
Come out, and we're probably going to find out. In my opinion, that's what I think.
Oh yeah,
that's how I see it. I think this whole thing was like a sexual fantasy with him, and I think it probably has to do something with the daughter, with his daughter.
I look at him. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were
No. Go ahead, Deb. Go ahead, Deb.
I also think that I agree with the fantasy thing, and I think that he lives a really secretive life inside his own head.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he probably despised everything and everyone around him, but he hid it very well.
And he probably has like something. I don't know if he might have a room. I think somebody said the shed, but those type of people are very secretive. And either they have a room or they have somewhere in their house where they hide things. And it's probably gonna come out. Yeah, like a usually it's a room where they put, but it could be anything. It could be as small as a box, or they open
as small as a box, and a room like the room had a bunch of pictures openly in it that nobody.
Psychic readings with Alexa.
Yeah, Alexa, like the room that had all the family wouldn't have known, but there was all these pictures of the bridge, the Monan High, bridge in it. type of thing and stuff like that. So it's kind of like when he knows, right? But like imagine that picture though with Lex and you guys, with the picture of his daughter that he took on the Mona and High Bridge after the fact. Like, can you imagine what he was truly thinking as his daughter he was taking a picture of? They were there. And it's almost
you guys were so on the case.
You know,
like it is just so scary.
So anyone that ever wants to put down Alexa, shut the fuck up, to be honest with you.
Alexa's
some trolls
amazing.
out there.
Honey's
you know?
amazing. Like,
yeah.
all the people in this chat are amazing. Like, well, apart from
one. Yeah, it's just that there's some people that are like, she's so full of shit and stuff like that. Well, come at her now, right? Come at her now. Like I said, hindsight's 20/20, but this is exactly why, Alexa, right? You say something.
My Alexa, don't come for my Alexa.
No. The funny thing is, like, I remember when I said it, I got a lot of shit. I mean, a lot of people were like, no, it's wrong. This is not. And then people started adopting what I had said and putting it into their own lives. And I was like, seriously? I was like, okay, I took it that way. So today, when everybody's like, this person said it first, I said to Sunny, no. I'm like, we said it way before anybody said it.
This channel doesn't get the due rights it deserves. Thank you, YouTube, because you guys couldn't put us in the algorithm if your life depended on it. But this channel never, like I said, you could see people with 500 subs getting thousands of views off of a Delphi video. But ever since that Halloween, when someone false reported we would get like at least 100, thousands of views at that point. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm not going to fight YouTube on it. Like, fuck off, really. But meaning the people that come on the lives and the people that are in the chat room, in a sense, and I know people say this all the time, and I truly mean it. There's a lot of great thinkers that come on this live and talk and give their knowledge, like in comparison to some of those other channels that Alexa's a criminal profiler, CD is a retired police officer, even when True Crime Steve, was on here and stuff like that, just a lot of great minds, Ivy, Charmaine, honestly.
It was 100% correct about what he told me about the jury just wanting a little bit more information, and there would be a verdict. So
wait, when?
Yesterday, I think, on your stream, in the comments, he mentioned that to me. So CD knows his shit.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, I was gonna say, you know what? Again, you got the knowledge of people from the force, profiler, and stuff like that. Bossy, what did I say? If I said something, then Alexa made me say it. Pretty sure.
Oh, Bossy, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know what she's joking about. There's something there. I'm just not sure what it is. But anyway, let's just play a little bit more out, okay? And then I want to go to another one.
They cut the piece of the ceiling and they stuff things there that things that you will never think of finding, that if the wife finds it dies. And that's another thing that yesterday somebody was like, oh, you're accusing the wife. No, I never said the wife knew. What I said is, you cannot be with somebody 25 years and you're going to tell me that he's a psychopath. Eventually he will show his true self. And what I said is, I have a feeling that the wife got to see glimpses of the real him.
Probably.
That doesn't mean that she knows, but I have a feeling that throughout the 25 years, there were instances where she really got to see that psychopath part of him, whether it was sexually, whether it was, I don't even know if I can say that word here. Whether, maybe physical abuse, but something. I guarantee you that she got to see that side of him, the glimpses of that side of him.
She probably explained it away, rationalized it.
Yeah, of course, because I don't think he's a narcissist, though. I personally don't think he's a narcissist. I think he's a psychopath, but I don't think he's a narcissist.
That's the blame.
used to think that I did, and I said narcissist, but once I started looking at him and I saw this secretive, and Adam said this, and it triggered my thought process too, of how little, like a little man, and he's just angry and bitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Sonny.
he's not that alpha. He's not that alpha male that controls. No, and he's very control. In a way, the wife controls him a lot,
Right.
and I think that makes
That's
him
perfect.
more angry.
And
And
resentful. I think
Okay.
he's really resentful.
So, yeah. So let's go to that statement right there. So do you still feel like the wife controls him? That the wife was the controlling one? Because wouldn't that fit though more with the dependent
I
personality?
think in some ways, I think she does. I think in many ways he is controlling, manipulative, but in other ways the wife controls.
Mhm.
And I think the wife has like the upper hand in some instances. Not everything, but I do think. I mean, I think he might be the most. The thing is, he's a manipulator, so he plays it. But I do think the wife controls him. Even that situation when they were at the when he gets, I think before he gets arrested, when they're at the police station, how she walks in and then he starts saying, "But you don't believe that," and then he's like, "No, because you would never do that," and then she starts, controlling him
Mhm.
in the confessions too. No, 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 it's the medications. You would never do that. And people that are, I saw Gen C, I think she said something about, and then I'm going to explain it. Psychopathy. I mean, in my field, we still call it psychopathy. In anybody that is a psychologist, they don't call it psychopathy anymore because it's not PC. I'm so sorry, my phone. They call it antisocial personality, which I believe it's a big cluster, and I think it's along with God, antisocial, borderline narcissistic personality, and I believe dependent personality is from the cluster C, I believe. So they're different. They're different, but they can, you can have one and have the other one. But in my field, we still call them psychopathy. We call it sociopath, which is
Alexa,
psychopaths and sociopaths. Yes, my
what do you think?
microphone again.
What do you think about that question right there? Here's the thought to ponder. Do you think that he took the girls' lives for the substitute for his unsubconscious or unconscious rage towards his mom and wife?
No, I think he
I don't
did.
think so.
I think he did this
Bambi,
because
shut
it was
up.
something that he had. This is a dark side that he had, a fantasy that he had. I always believed he had it for a long time. He struggled with these demons for a long time. And
Mhm.
something made, and I was so sure, that we were going to be finding out what was that trigger, and drives me crazy. And I go back to the drawing board and I say, what is the trigger? And I can't find it. What was it that day that he said, I'm gonna do it?
I know.
He goes to his mom.
Ask
He gets
Alexa a
drunk.
question.
Yes.
Sorry. So is it true that psychopaths are born and sociopaths are made?
Psychopaths are born basically physically in their frontal lobe. There's connections that are actually missing. If you scan a psychopath brain and a normal brain, they will be different. But being a psychopath doesn't mean that you have to be a killer. So all killers are psychopaths, but not all psychopaths are killers. I have actually one of my professors, he was actually a psychopath. He was what they call a psychopath, but obviously he wasn't a killer. So you can strive. It's just you know that you have those tendencies, and he
Mhm.
had a lovely family, and the family steered him the right way. But that's why it's so important when you have children to always monitor their behavior and see that if something is going on with your kids, to get help. Obviously, there's some places where you can't because there's substance abuse. There's sometimes they don't have the money, the resources. I get it. Not everybody can do it, but if you can, I always say that's the best way of preventing the next generation of psychopath killers.
Now, go to Alexa. So yeah, even so Richard you didn't tell me you were on the bridge in the interrogation video 5+ years later. So he lied to her from the beginning. So that would mean, of course, that when he got home, his wife was probably working. And so, yeah, so she, like I said, so she's making that comment. You didn't tell me you were on the bridge, So obviously she didn't know, or she didn't push him to say, hey, call in, you were on the bridge. She obviously didn't know. Yeah. And they never came to him, back to him. So.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I said, I believe in a way, in no shade to Kathy Allen, and I respect her. She's a victim too, in a way, but I do believe in a way she became an enabler, because if I find out my husband lies, and I remember that he was at home, and then I find out he was there, and then somebody got killed, I would have been like, wait a second, like let's talk about it. Like, why don't you tell the police the truth? Why don't But I think I think deep down she knows that he did it.
Oh, just quickly, you guys, tomorrow, me and Alexa. Sorry, Daniel, almost forgot. I've been so busy today and working and doing these lives and that. Tomorrow, me and Alexa will be on the Drunk Turkey show over there. We said if there's a guilty verdict, we're going to be drinking and talking about it for about an hour's time. So there's the link for the Drunk Turkey show. Come watch it. And it's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, right, Danielle? 6, because we were on there. I was on there at 6, so that's 9 Eastern. So that would be 8 Central time. Yeah. So nice to see you, Daniel. Daniel, just to ask you there. Yeah, that's right. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So make sure you guys can watch us tomorrow on the Drunk Turkey show. Got to keep our promise, right, Daniel? Power some back. Got the guilty verdict we wanted, type of thing, and yeah, we'll talk about it with the Drunk Turkey show. Clock, 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 clock. Oh, and happy Remembrance Day to everyone. This is Remembrance Day for Canada, and it's Veterans Day over in the United States. So always prayers for the people who died in the fighting and stuff like that. And so prayers to them. And again, to me, it's an ironic, perfect day for Abby and Libby. Remember Abby and Libby on Remembrance Day, 11/11. 8 means angels. If you guys, like I said, the time clock, 11/11 means angels are around. So I think it's just a perfect day, 11/11, for that. So bless, again, all the veterans that served for the country in the U.S. and for Canada. And yeah, like honestly, like it's like, when the stars align and it just like the world is right. That's how I feel about today. Everything just aligned. I look at the clock, see 11/11, get the guilty verdict, just knowing that the family can move a step forward. Just quickly on this one. I know that there's going to be appeals and blah, 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 blah. But I feel like the family they got their verdict that they wanted today. Regardless of the fact that there's going to be appeals, I don't feel like it's going to be the same stressor as they've been feeling now. Just knowing that, of course, this is going to happen. Nothing might become of it and all that stuff. But I feel now they feel like a sigh of relief, from this verdict today. And they just wanted to know why and who. And I know that they knew who before, like at least some of them anyway. Some of the family, right, Melissa, thought that, he was going to, have a hung jury or maybe get off or something like that. Didn't know.
Yeah, one of the family members thought that he was going to get off.
Yeah, absolutely. So purple and hearts. Okay, so I'm just going to move along here. I do have to work at 6 a.m. in the morning at the office for the next 2 days. So I'm going to have to get up at 4:30 in the morning. So I'll probably go, we'll see how it goes, but no more than 1 more hour for sure.
I'd like to say a massive thank you to you guys and the mods in the channel, especially Mark.
Especially Mark.
Yeah, wink, wink, Mark.
Who had to go to bed.
Yeah.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
He's had to go to bed.
Oh, he had to go to bed?
Yeah.
You
Unfortunately.
have to go too?
She wore
You
it
have to
out
make a
last
phone
night.
call?
Yeah, watch Miss Dog Lover be like, you know what? Oh God, go
I
now.
gotta go. Yeah.
Gotta go. Gotta pull
Well,
up those.
45, my hormones are through the roof. Like, something good's got to come out of this, yeah?
And so what? Boyfriend named Mark on is that what you mean?
Well, that was her ex
Who knows?
name too. So,
All I'm picturing is that little emoji that looks like a kumquat. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
That eggplant looking thing.
Yeah, but
All
we all know about your history, Sonny.
Hey, you know what? I got plenty of
Alexa's
secrets.
got the same face that I have right now. The old pepper in your face. That's what I'm doing too. I'm with you, Alexa.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm the only one in my family that I could literally shock people with what comes out of my mouth, and they all look at me, and they're just like, "You just say the damnedest things out of that mouth, don't you?" Usually, always get some laughing though, because I just say sometimes what people, whatever. But maybe sometimes too far, but I don't really care.
I know. I never do this. Sonny, you are the worst.
Yeah, that's pretty much my home. Toys R Us. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're not going to change the course of this conversation now. Okay, so Miss Delwever, so going back to it quickly, so because Mark left, are you saying that you need to leave as well? Is that what you were?
No, I can stay.
Oh, okay, you're good. Okay.
Stay.
Okay. So let me play this part of this one. I haven't listened to it, just a few minutes of it, but I remember we were talking about like the DNA here. So let me just play this one.
All right.
I remember Greeno ran it. He's like, he wanted to prove how fast he could run from it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I think it was like under 3 minutes there, something like that.
Right.
Right time.
It's easy to do when you're only 4'9".
We're getting there. Alexa, I want to go back to you on something here. The crime scene and how you were saying how crucial the crime scene is to the investigation. So from what talk about the general, like what you would typically do, of course, to how maybe it compared to what your knowledge is for the Delphi case and kind of what you know about that, if you don't mind. However you want to talk about it, whatever way. So how typically is it? Yeah, keep talking, Alexa. You're like, can't hear you.
Alexa.
Can't hear you. I think I remember that. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You were talking away, and we're sitting there.
Am I talking? And I'm like, why are they laughing? I'm like, am I saying something?
Great. There we go.
Thank God I saw you because you always okay. Here we go. Yes, like I said, I'm not at the crime scene. I usually, I am the one that analyzes everything and gets the pictures, but I'm never at the crime scene. Usually I'm not. I've been into one, but I never. So usually, I'm hoping that what worries me about this case is that this case was a search. They were searching. And I'm hoping, Delphi, it's very small. I don't think there's a lot of murders going on. And I'm really praying that when they were doing the search and they found the items that they found, that they had the proper bags to bag them, the evidence bags. And those bags are crucial because those bags have chemicals inside to protect the evidence. Obviously, if you don't have that, the next best thing is to grab a brand new Ziploc bag or whatever new you have. I'm really praying that in this case, they did that.
Yeah, I know. I can tell you that they actually brought in 5 or 6 crime scene technicians specifically so that they could oversee each other's work, not to miss anything. Plus, it was a large crime scene.
Yeah,
I don't know if that gives you context, but
so that's.
I can confirm from the scanner reports that they called for evidence bags.
Okay.
To bag a cigarette butt, some undergarments, and a few other things on the one side, and they did have them stand there, protect the item, and wait for the bags to show up.
So that's number one. That's like the most important thing is, you need to preserve the evidence. Anything that you think that it's evidence, you need to protect it. When you find the bodies, the only concern that I have is I don't believe there was any police where they were found. I think they were just regular people. I don't think there was any. So I'm hoping that they didn't touch the girls. I think as a human, your first instinct would be to touch, even though you see blood, but I think your first instinct, although it was a day later, so hopefully the rigor mortis already had set in and it was very obvious that they were dead, but I'm hoping that they didn't touch the body. So obviously preserving the bodies, you don't want to move the bodies, you want to preserve the bodies to take pictures and to do your analysis, to start measuring cuts, blood splatters. Those are crucial, because then you want to go and recreate the scene and see, was it left-handed, right-handed, all those stuff. One thing that I was telling Sunny that bothers me about this case is that I think, is it Robert?
Robert Ives.
He talks about signatures. And I don't think he's very familiar with signatures means, because signature means that, well, usually we don't call them signatures, we call them calling cards. But signature is something that a killer does. But in order to see that it's a signature, there has to be multiple killings. Like, so for example, when there's a lot of killings in the area, and then you start seeing a pattern. Okay, most of them are women, are 25 years old, they're blondes. So those are signatures. Then you start seeing the signature, and there's like a specific. There was one in particular that I remember all the time, and I always tell my students, there was a serial killer that his calling card was, he used to kill the people, and then he used to go to the bathroom, and he used to do number 2. And that was his calling card. That was his signature, as he did that. This was way before DNA.
Is he single?
Adam.
So those are, so when I get sick when I hear people say the signatures. You wouldn't know what signatures are in this case. There's no signatures. And staging. Okay, staging. Was it staged because they were moved? Was it staged because the killer wanted to create some fantasy? Or was it staged because they want to make sure that the police doesn't get the information? They want to, they killed you over there, but then I moved you so that we cannot get the blood splatter, the splatter, we can't do that. We cannot recreate. And see the crime scene as a puzzle. Crime scene, when you arrive, it's a puzzle. You don't know where the pieces go. But hopefully by the end of the case, you have to put all those little pieces together. And that's why preserving the evidence, the bodies, all the information is so crucial. So we can then look at and say, okay, this, or we can make a profile. Then we get psychologists, psychiatrists, and then we can start building a profile that we think the killer is. So I think but I think in this case, obviously they were killed. They were found the next day. So, again, that usually, that contaminates evidence a lot. Also, they went through water, even though, of course, nowadays technology is very, very, very advanced and we can do many things, but we're still very limited. I truly, and I know this is going to be a little bit, I shouldn't even be saying it, but I don't think there's DNA.
I was just going to ask you about that.
I personally don't think there's DNA. I think, and think about it, it's just not even just logically. If they had DNA and they went with the wrong person, that doesn't make sense. I think they don't have DNA. Obviously, and this is another thing that people don't understand. Cops lie all the time. And they do it because they don't have anything. Imagine what they must be feeling.
Can I just say another boom moment there? Like boom after boom after boom. Sorry, Rockstar, but you rocked this case on so many things. Like you said, going back to listen to you, hear about the DNA. Well, just everything, really. What do you guys think? Give Alexa some hearts. What color? She likes pink hearts. Give Alexa some hearts, you guys. But just to ask you, I'll play it a little bit more. Now, because Illuminating said, Alexa, so many people are saying that RA is innocent because no DNA. And if you can't convict unless there is, how do you respond to this?
Well, obviously you can come back to our DNA because I mean, we've seen it. You know, you can put the bread. I always call it breadcrumbs. I mean, he admitted he was there. What are the chances of the only male around that time that was captured on a video was there, and he said he was there. He even said at the same time his bullet apparently was found between the two girls. What else? What else do we? What other? I don't even know what. Oh, all the. You know. Then they go to his house and they find this, you know, room full of, you know, pictures, and seems like it was a trophy in a small box. We don't know, but I mean that's what they implied it that there was, which I still don't know what it means. I mean, they found a little box with a bullet. I don't know the significance that it has. I mean, I'm sure that something that it reminded him or whatever, or maybe the bullet that he lost. I don't know yet, but anyways. So why? Oh, and out of all the phones that they collected, the only phone missing is a 2017. I mean, come on. Why
I know.
there's no DNA in this case? I mean, I said it. I personally always said, and I said it from day one, is this Delphi wasn't prepared for this type of crime. They
Yeah,
have
I mean,
never.
looking back at that, I mean, you absolutely predicted it.
Yeah, they didn't. They and it hurt me because a lot of people are like, you're bashing law enforcement, and I wasn't, but I was just telling the truth. I
No,
mean, they're a small town that
you know
they this type of
yourself.
stuff doesn't happen. I always said it. You know, this is a Tuesday afternoon for us here in New York, but for you guys over there in Delphi, this doesn't happen. You guys had, you know, passionate killings
It was so accurate. Like
and things
looking
like
back on
that.
that, it was
Yeah,
so
I know, right?
accurate.
I should
So
put
like,
readings
yeah,
with Alexa after dark, kind
yeah,
of thing. I think that's
yeah,
Yeah.
how.
it was so accurate.
Uh,
Looking
I
back
mean,
on,
unfortunately, you know, I mean, joke aside, unfortunately, I've seen so many Richard
same,
Allen
Ben.
before that I knew when I saw the victim, even though I had never seen the crime scene 100%, I saw pictures and I saw here and there. I knew, you know, I kind of started composing kind of a little profile, and I kind of was able to read him and
you
know.
know your stuff at Alexa. That's why we
Well,
love.
Thank you.
Alexa, talk to Illuminating there about an outdoor crime scene. I mean, I know I've heard it multiple times that one of the hardest places to get DNA is an outdoor crime scene.
Mhm.
Um, what do you?
Well,
So what?
first of all, it's so big because you know you have what they call. I mean, here they call it ground zero. Is where they, you know, the crime scene really starts from where the girls get taken. So you go from the bridge, then you go down the hill all the way where they were unalive. So that's a big crime scene. It's not like, you know, they were killed in a car or they were killed in a room where it's small and you can tape everything up.
Absolutely, Night Rider.
So you have a big crime scene now that, you know, and it's outdoors. They were found the next day. There were a lot of searchers. So contamination. And on top of it, the people that were conducting the investigation, even though, you know, we heard that they called 5, 6 CSIs, and maybe they knew on the books, but they didn't have experience. They didn't know how to process that crime scene. And the perfect example was this, that they found DNA in one of the girls from one of the from the ice from
PE
one of the
officer.
people that work there.
Yeah.
How is that possible? That means it was contaminated. So this is the reason that this wasn't found. I believe there was DNA. Do I believe there was DNA there? Yes. But I believe it was contaminated. And I think they found when they found out that it was contaminated, isolating DNA is very expensive. It's extremely expensive. Back in my days, I'm telling you, 10 years ago, uh, it used to be like 30, 40,000. So it was very expensive. So you can imagine if they had that, how do they, you know, they didn't want to pay $10,000 to do a height analysis. Imagine the other one. So do I think there was DNA at the crime scene? Yes. If I think the FBI would have processed it, they probably would have got it. But because they didn't know how to do it, they contaminated the scene. And obviously the scene was also contaminated because people were in and out, and it's a big crime scene.
Mm.
So it's hard to go, they have to go place by place. Usually you scan, and that's where we go. I'm not CSI, but that's where you go. The seven essence of a crime scene. You secure the scene. What's the other? Secure the scene, separate the witness, scan the scene, sketch the scene, see the scene, search for evidence. And what's the other one? Oh my God. Oh, secure and collect evidence. And to me, one of the crucial ones is always sketching. To me, that was like better than the pictures. It was sketching, because in the pictures you can see, yes, you can see a picture and you can see the bullet was found here, but I need to know in context to where was the bullet found, how far away from this street, how far away from. So that's, for me, sketching was always so crucial. And I bet you here they didn't do that. They probably took pictures, but they didn't take everything. So
Alexa, let's go over this thing that you sent me earlier.
Oh, the organized killer that yeah, I had said that I believed that he was an organized killer. And somebody that I was talking to today, they were like, "Oh, you were right on. But can you explain what an organized killer is?" And I said, I don't have time. Just Google it. And then I felt bad because I'm like, oh, they're probably not going to find what I mean. But then she sent me that, and I was like, oh my God. So basically, an organized killer is what you're seeing. They plan their crimes. Usually they are usually, when people commit crimes, they usually commit crimes towards people they know. Like mom, kills the children, or the thing. Usually somebody in the family, but this type of killers, usually they kill strangers. And they do, they it could be fantasizing, or they could be a lot of planning. They have this planning. And you can read it. I mean, they have, I think Richard Allen in this case had this I think he had some type of failure. And like we said, a sexual addiction, that's a big one. And I think we never found that there was any connection. We didn't know if he had any, maybe children porn, or we don't know. But obviously, that was one of his fantasies. So we don't know if that was what he intended. We don't know if he was reaching to minors. I don't know. I still believe that maybe he had seen Libby. I don't think he woke up one day and just went to the bridge and that happened. I think, in my opinion, I think he maybe saw her and he knew she was going to be there, or maybe when he got there. But when he got there into that bridge, he already knew he was going to kill. I am 110% sure that he already knew that that's what he was going to do.
I know. I mean, I'm curious about what that trigger was that day.
What bothers me is that they didn't give any. I thought that we were going to find out, for example, what he did after. I mean, we just know he went to bed. I mean, he went back home and he went to bed. But they don't give context of what did he do the next day.
Yeah.
Did he go to work?
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Did he go to work? What was his work schedule like? This is all
What
stuff.
about his mood? But we never found anything out, right?
No, but that's because it's 5.5 years later.
But I mean,
Yeah, I
everybody
don't
remember
know.
everything. So
Go ahead, Miss Doglover.
I just initially I thought it was planned, but now I think it was opportunistic. The way that Betsy Blair said that she saw him on the bridge and he was looking around, and it looked to me like he was just looking for someone. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Right, like, it was planned from the moment he left his house for an opportunity. And that opportunity arose because, like the girl said, he was walking with a purpose, right? And that's why I always felt that, he was walking to get there in time. And then the girls came. And this is when we thought it was more connected, like he might have known Libby and stuff like that. But it was always the fact that he was walking with a purpose. So meaning from when he left his home that day, something was planned for sure. And then, like I said, I think opportunity presented itself. And it could have been that maybe if opportunity... Go ahead, Melissa.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, sorry, Melissa. Go on.
It's okay. Melissa, you're muted.
I think she said, "Be right back a second. I'm not feeling right." And that's one of the things that also, for example, she said that in the private chat. I'm just reading that. For example, another thing is they might. I mean, the sticks. Did he leave those sticks to throw people off? Did he leave it for?
I know I would like to have known that.
I mean, we don't know. I mean, obviously, he kind of. I always believe he posed Abby. I think no, I think even both. They were a little. I think he posed them for a reason. He
Shut
wanted
down
to
there,
show
Todd.
value, the shock value, and at the end, and when I said that of the organized killers, they usually pretend to be insane because then they don't want to take responsibility for what they have done. They're not like the other killers that they are like, yeah, I did it, and I like to take ownership because it's like another gold star. They just say no, 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 I didn't do it. From the sense that they start playing insanity and playing, that they have psychosis and everything. So
I mean,
that's
the whole Keegan Klein thing. I
It's
mean,
the accent, Todd,
why
isn't it?
why wasn't he on the stand? He was called, wasn't he, Keegan?
Yeah, but
he was in the witness, but I don't think he was called.
right, he wasn't. He was.
I think they wanted to use that for the jury as to throw the jury off to say,
Yeah.
hey, this happened.
Yeah.
They were preparing that she would allow Odinist at some point, and all these other people that have been blamed. Anyways, shut it down. There was no point, in a sense, because she wasn't allowing, like said, a lot of stuff, geofencing, the Odinistics angle and stuff like that. It ended up being that they barely had any witnesses then, besides some experts, and even the expert that still, I agree. How can you sit there and talk about a bullet from pictures without actually handling the gun and looking at it yourself, than having the defense expert, whatever, right? I mean, funds obviously become an issue for the defense there. I think Todd's jizzing over your accent, is it? Is it that what you're saying? What if we let Miss Dog Lover talk more?
Todd needs to just stop because I think Mark's worried that Todd is.
I know she has such a sexy accent. I mean, oh, no.
Just chill out. God.
So let's see, Melissa, are you okay?
Okay, so I'm gonna get off panel.
Are you not feeling well?
Feel better.
No, I just had a seizure. So I'm gonna get off panel. I'm gonna let you play. I'm gonna go down
Feel better.
Okay.
Please feel better.
It's been a long day.
before I
for
have
you.
another one.
Okay, feel better. Feel
Feel
better.
better.
Melissa. Thank you.
It's been a long day too. I mean, a lot of emotions and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so many
She
emotions.
hasn't slept right also.
Well, I
Oh,
was gonna
God.
say,
They're
go
okay.
ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miss Oliver.
I hope they're okay.
Yeah.
I'm staying. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I'm staying, Sonny. Don't worry. I just wanted to say I hope they're okay.
Yeah. I don't know. What else do you guys want? I
Well,
mean,
here, who was it? Todd says the blood expert immediately destroyed their ordinance F tree. Yeah, I mean that was pretty obvious, and I always believed that the F tree was probably made like this. She probably went like this, like she wanted
like
maybe
this.
to collapse or something, and she went like this, and that's where the F comes from,
Yeah.
the imprint of the hand, the side hand. I mean, Mr.
He
Steve
called
is
it an upside down L.
Yeah, Mr. Steve is the one that he's the pro at that, and I'm sure that I'm not. But I always said the blood splatter doesn't look like it's something that they drew. No, they were just full of of S that they wanted to say was
Now,
that.
Alexa, since we went boom with your stuff, he says, or she says, I'm so grateful for Sunny to be honest. My turn. She's like the only voice of reason. That's correct. Ignore everybody else. You got that right. Gray Hughes is correct, but he's a douche. So And Alexa's are ridiculously cute. So,
Oh.
Alexa, I'm the voice of reason. You're the cute one today.
Oh,
Forgive me.
Mason
I'm
is
Miss
single.
Dog Lover. Anything?
Alexa is beautiful.
And
And
Reese's
Sunny is
single.
too.
Oh, thank
She-
you. Oh, God.
Yeah, Alexa's a little bit married to a Canadian.
Yeah. 20
Miss
years
Dog Lover,
married
how?
and
I'm a bit
27 years with the same man. So I'll give you a call if I ever decide to change. But so far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit available. But yeah. After
Now, just to ask you guys both, how did you feel about the white van? People saying, "Well, he said 3:30 and da type of thing," like meaning at the end of the day, it's kind of like, do you honestly think that Brad Weber is going to go? You know what? Let me just think about that. I'm just going to give a Richard Allen a timeline all of a sudden. Like put him like meaning he might have said 3:30 originally. And then looking back was like, oh, no, it was 2:30 because I got off at 2:00. So you know how people say things like, well, right? But anyways, what did you guys feel? How strong, like, did you feel like that was the one thing that really wasn't out there that he said?
can I start?
Yeah,
Yep.
go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've had to actually call the police a few times around here in my flat. And I can't even remember the actual colour of people's clothing. So the fact that, well, yeah. Sorry, go on, Alexa.
Wait, what was your point?
So my point was, if you're a witness to something, you're not going to probably remember a lot of details.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I don't know. Like, you're talking about Brad Weber, the van thing, right? The time?
Yeah, sorry, it's really late here. It's like 4:00 in the morning. I'm so tired.
Oh, I get you. It's not even that late here. It's 8:30, but it's been a long day. Long emotional day working, so I haven't had time.